Okay, let's talk about the main thing I want to talk about today, which is the Pharrell designed Louis Vuitton butter soft sneaker. It's fair to say I've always been very skeptical of Pharrell's appointment at Louis Vuitton. I was never a fan of it. I always felt like it was very reactionary, very knee jerk in the response to obviously the unfortunate passing of Virgil Abloh, RIP to him, and Louis Vuitton, the LVMH desire to get someone in black there who was prominent and cool to sort of like steer the ship. I didn't think that was necessary. I felt the experiment of going with Virgil Abloh was incredibly successful. It really did change things, but Virgil was also one of a kind. There isn't many prominent black designers of his level that exist. Just designers flat out, forget race. So the fact that they were so insistent on going with a black person, I felt was starting at the wrong place. Personally, I felt like the decision that they should have went with was getting the right person, for the best person for the role. And if anything, if it was up to me and I had, the choice to make my decisions at LVMH, I would have gone with somebody who was completely different stylistically to Virgil, to separate that time and to kind of allow people to mourn and to kind of value and to kind of praise that moment in time, as opposed to trying to continuing it on a little bit with the appointment of Pharrell. Fair play, they didn't hire fucking Kid Super, because Kid Super had like a little interim period there where he was the men's designer over there at Louis Vuitton, because he's fucking awful too. But Pharrell's probably worse, because at least with Kid Super, he designs his own collections. He knows how to put collections together. They may not be my cup of tea, but he knows how to design a 30+ look collection. He's done that, for many years of his own brand. But Pharrell, in my opinion, has never been a streetwear designer, has never been a fashion designer, let alone a streetwear designer. He's always been somebody that I feel like has got good taste when it comes to products, when it comes to collaborations, when it comes to pieces, but he's never been somebody that I think should be in charge of designing an entire collection for a brand. I think even in the heyday, when he first launched Billionaire Boys Club, and if you remember Billionaire Boys Club, when that first launched, it was a collaboration, a business partnership between him and Nigo. And that in the early stages, why that fucking company was so cool and why that brand was so sick was, if I'm not mistaken, I think the legendary designer Skate Thing, who used to design for Bape, he was also designing stuff for BBC. It would explain why the BBC stuff was so good. But the moment when Pharrell took over BBC more, or maybe Skate Things dropped away, or Nigo wasn't involved in Bape as much and went through what he went through with Bape and IT buying it, the quality of BBC also started to dip over the years. So I could never understand, when the appointment happened, why you'd hire a designer who isn't capable of designing decent stuff for like a semi-easy label like being a boys club. Why do you think you could do something crazy with Louis Vuitton? Now, the crazy thing about this situation that I'm talking about now with these Buttersoft sneakers is that I've never believed in Pharrell as a designer, fashion designer with a capital F. But one thing I know him to do well is accessories and products and shit. So you'd think, even though he doesn't know how to design fashion clothes or collection well, his accessories would be banging. Like that keyboard bag he designed, I thought was fairly decent. That's been something that has been a bit of a staple, and people have been wearing it all over the place. But then you see these shoes, these sneakers that he's designed for Louis Vuitton, it makes you think, wow, he can't do anything right then, isn't it? He's pretty mediocre and average across the board. And if anything, this might be an indication of like, he might be soon getting the boot at Louis Vuitton. Because this shoe is horrendous. This shoe is awful. Because if you don't see this picture, it's essentially a mix of a billionaire, it's essentially a mix of an ice cream sneaker, a Cortez, and I guess some other fat sneaker. I don't know. That's what it's a mix of. That's what he mixed it of. In my personal opinion, from my POV, I think most people hate Cortezes anyway. It's one of the most, I don't think it's one of the most popular sneakers in Nike's repertoire. I think Cortez already have a bit of a bad reputation. So they're not the most aesthetically pleasing sneaker. Basing it on a Cortez, which is meant to be a sleek silhouette, and then fattening it up in a skateboarding way, and then trying to imbue some of that ice cream flavor on it, is also weird, because they look extra ugly. Like this would have made more sense if you tried to make it in the same style of the original ice creams. But trying to make this in the Cortez shape, but make it skateable, but also make it look like an ice cream shoe is so bizarre. Like if I get here and say BBC ice cream shoes, right? Let's see, ice cream shoes vintage. You'll see the silhouette of these ice creams was pretty sick in terms of the shape. I think what they did here early on with the BBC shoes was pretty cool. So this silhouette, which is kind of like a Stan Smith shape, would have probably made more sense for Louis Vuitton. I'm not gonna lie. If you would have just taken this silhouette and covered it with LVs, I think that's a go. He takes even this silhouette, which is kind of similar to like a Nike FC. I think this is not, this particular shape, this Reebok ice cream shape is similar to a Nike skateboarding FC, I think. Is it FC? Shoes. I think that's where he got it from. So I think this like football shape is kind of similar to what he did with the original ice creams from back in the day. So this one as well, right? You see a little bit here. There we go. That particular shape there, that toe box here. That's what it makes me think of when I see FCs. I think of ice cream, I think of that toe box. So if you were to take this particular silhouette and just make this into a Louis Vuitton shit, I think that's a go. I think that could work. This stuff like with the beepers, you replace the beepers with whatever iconography you want, that makes complete sense. But trying to take a silhouette of a shoe, an original Nike Cortez that I personally think has already been kind of dead, Nike Cortez, and trying to make it like a skateboarding thing is odd, because I personally think the Cortez is really ugly. It's a really whack shoe. I think you can tell by the lack of popularity of seeing in the streets. Yes, I know there's a lot of West Coast influence there with hip hop and shit, blah blah blah, but aesthetically it's a pretty ugly sneaker. Personally, I don't think it works that well. I think the recent one I saw that was actually pretty decent of a Cortez flip might have been from what's his face, is it YG? YG had like a pair of Nike Cortez shoes that he made. There we go. Yeah, this might have been something that I thought was fairly okay at the time. It's still pretty shit, but YG had this thing for his brand called 400 where he made a style of a Cortez, and you know, Cortez, you know, are very much tied to LA West Coast style and shit. So he did a flip of the Cortez, also of the Cortez, and added his kind of like flame logo on the side. I didn't think these looked too bad personally. I still wouldn't wear them for myself, but I like how he kind of thickened up the sole. He made the uppers look a little bit more like bowling shoes and less like athletic runners and stuff. That had a bit more of a sleeker outlook, really hard levers. I think most Cortez have very soft uppers. So I think he did really well in terms of how he kind of made this silhouette his own, but still not for me in the slightest, not for me in the blood clot slightest. Now compare this thing you see here on the screen to what you see here courtesy of Pharrell, and I personally think these are fucking garbage. So bad. So it's making me question everything, because if he can't do sneakers correctly and his fashion collections are already a bit pants, what is he there for? You know, what is he at Louis Vuitton for? Because the one thing that you should be able to knock out of the park is sneakers. You should be able to make a version of, you know, a new Louis Vuitton silhouette of a sneaker and make it bang, as opposed to just, you know, riffing on other silhouettes and shapes he'd done previously, especially however many years past. Like, is there no inspiration this guy's got new, fresh that he can use? Like, even what I said might be true about him maybe going into the archives and trying to resurrect some of these silhouettes from BBC ice cream days, could be argued, why can't he make something new? Why can't he make some new shit? What, isn't there like a shape or silhouette of a shoe that he thinks could work now that he could maybe update and reintroduce, or something new directly that he can maybe put back on the industry? Why does it have to be something that he did like however many years ago? They were 18-20 years ago these shoes dropped out, and now he's trying to resurrect this design and make it work on a Nike Cortez silhouette of all silhouettes, one of the worst silhouettes ever. He could have done this on maybe an Air Force One shape. A flipping blazer shape would have been better, but a fucking Cortez, like, are you for real? A Cortez, like, so bad, and every colorway is bad. Like, maybe if I was being fair and I wasn't being as flippant, I was being fair, maybe the only one that kind of works might be the one here with the contrasting logo. If I was being fair, maybe these kind of work. There's a pair here that's like orange, and it's got orange laces, and it's got the LV logo here in black with white border in all leather, and there's another pair also in black that's been all blackened out with white contrast stitching and white laces, and there's also a pair here maybe with this all over print LV on it. Maybe at stretch you can justify them, but they look awful even in pictures. I can't imagine how gargantuan how bulky they're going to look in person. And the weird thing about this as well, I personally think these are not going to age well. These are going to age gracefully. These are very of the moment now shoes because everybody's influenced by this like late 90s, early 2000s skateboarding thing where everyone's trying to replicate like, you know, what you call it, DC shoes and shit and match the fucking tongue and thickness and all this malarkey. But that particular brand and that particular style of shoe won't last. That particular trend won't last. So these will end up not aging well. They're really gonna die a slow death. Maybe the same slow death that Triple S's died. Even though I still wear my Triple S's, but you know, Balenciaga Triple S's were only popular because at that time everyone was wearing big, bulky, you know, obscene, you know, just fucking out there fucking sneakers. And that kind of ugly sneaker trend was also really popular at the time. But nowadays, I don't think that's the case. So you've got these shoes that you're trying to make popular that the silhouette is kind of dying already. This whole like big, chunky skateboard style is going. And objectively, they just don't look that good. Objectively, they look fucking horrible. Really, really fucking horrible. And you can imagine what the price tag will be. Because these look like they're 100% leather, right? Looks like he's covered the entire thing in leather. Even the insoles. There's not an inkling of mesh anywhere. So they're probably going to try and justify this and say, oh, this is the same leather we use in the handbags. This is the same leather we use in the suitcases. So they're probably going to charge you what? $1,000? Maybe more for these? I can imagine. Easy. If Prada's charging $700 for re-engineered, you know, rehabilitated fucking nylon, imagine what they're going to be charging for all leather shoes. Leather insoles, leather. It may even have leather midsoles. I'm not even sure. But they could definitely justify charging you $1,000 for these. And these are not worth $1,000. They're not even worth £200. That's how ugly they are. They're so disastrously ugly. It's not even funny to say how ugly they are. And then here you got more colors here, courtesy of Over and Under. Big up the account Over and Under on social media. One of my favorite kind of streetwear outlets to go and check out stuff for. So make sure you check them out. It's OVRNUNDR on Twitter. They posted Louis Vuitton Buttersoft sneakers by Pharrell and Nigo. So I guess this is a exclusive Nigo collaboration, or maybe the colorway is. Either way, you got colors here. You got like RGB, I guess, rainbow colors. You've got a blue pair with the white LV monogram and the LV logo also in blue. I guess signed by Poggy or one of these people. And you've also got someone with a bag that has like a red pair and a green pair also in the bag. But they look honestly so fucking bad. So fucking awful, man. I can't stress how bad these shoes look. Big up the stream chat. What are you guys saying in the stream chat? LV sneakers remind me of the grey Reebok ice creams. Yep, exactly. Have you seen the video of Nori vexed about the LV Tims? No, I'm not seeing that. What's he saying about the LV Tims? Let's check Stay Grounded. Stay Grounded's a really good account as well to check all this streetwear stuff. What's Nori saying about the fucking Tims? I actually think the Tims that he did in the first couple collections, or maybe is it? They might be some of the best stuff he's done. I've not seen people wear them, but they look really fucking good. Nori calls out Louis Vuitton. I spent too much money on these to get the exact same effect as regular Tims.
Tims, that's $2,500. Still give you the same scar that the regular Tims do? Yo, nah. Skateboard P, I never. Nah. The Louis Tim get a regular scar to the. These are brand new socks, Sergio Tacchini socks. And they got the same scar that the regular teeth, Tims do?
The amount of saliva coming out of his mouth.
This is a foul on the play. I spent too much money on these to get the same exact effect as when I'm fucking doing regular Tims for $120. I spent $2,400 on these. I don't get no discount. Pharrell's never sent me no love on Louis nothing. But I got the same effect. We gotta stop this.
Hey, Jesus Christ, how long are the nails on his toes? Maybe that also isn't helping with the fucking scarring. Maybe clip the nails, man. Your big toenails. Look how long they are. Fucking hell, bro. You could scratch somebody's eyes out with the size of those fucking nails. That might help with your fucking scarring. But I love how he thinks LV Tims were going to be different to like regular Tims. Why would they make separate Tims? They obviously it's the same tooling. It's going to be the same silhouette, everything. Maybe it's going to be some little additions here and there. But it was never going to be a different shoe. it was always going to be the same shoe, just updated with the details that Louis Vuitton wanted to put in them, like the different lining, maybe a different quality of leather, maybe like little things here and there, maybe different lining, maybe different collar, maybe different packaging. But it was never going to be a different tooling of a boot. If anything, he should probably wait until Pharrell decides to copy the Timberland, because I was surprised they didn't do that. But I was surprised they didn't just make their own version of a Timberland boot. But I guess they wanted the story. They wanted the fucking narrative of collaborating with Timberland, and Timberland being tied to street culture and streetwear and menswear in New York and fashion, blah, blah, blah. But if they would have made their own shoe, they probably would have tried to, you know, circumnavigate some of these issues that people have when they're wearing Timberlands and shit. That would have made more sense. But I'm not too sure what he's crying about. This is a standard case. Like it's like if Rick Owens fucking collaborates with fucking Dr. Martens, they're not going to suddenly change the tooling of a Dr. Martens shoe. They're just going to let him just redesign the colorway, maybe change some material choices here and there. But if you find Dr. Martens uncomfortable, you're going to find even Rick Owens ones uncomfortable. Same way when it comes to Louis Vuitton. So his complaints are a little bit, you know, a little bit dumb in that regard. But I get what he means. I do find it funny how he's crying about not getting a care package. Most likely this complaint will result in him getting a care package. And also funny how much saliva seems to be, you know, pouring out of his mouth. Those fucking teeth. One of the things that I'm really grateful about is that even though I was really considering getting it, and you know, I'm a bit of a procrastinator, it takes me a long time to really pull the trigger, but I was seriously considering going to fucking Turkey and getting my fucking chompers installed and getting some fucking Turkish teeth put into my face. And I'm glad I didn't do it, because nowadays I feel like everybody's looking kind of nuts that has those fucking porcelain teeth. And once you kind of hear what it sounds like, you can't ever unhear it. You know, you hear that whistle. Some people have that little whistle, that little lisp they sometimes have as well. Some people have that sound that Nori has, where it sounds like he's gargling water or he's underwater or something, right? Constantly. And that comes from the fucking veneers and shit. So I'm so glad I didn't do that. And most likely we'll end up just doing the regular Invisalign shit and getting my teeth kind of cleaned up. And if I need to get veneers to kind of, you know, spruce up some of my front choppers, I'll get them. But the idea of getting that whole fucking, you know, front and bottom chomper shit done, I'm glad I never went through it, because these guys are sounding insane when they speak on video clips and stuff. They're sounding so fucking wild. But yeah, hopefully Nori gets his care package. But like I said, I think he would be helped if he clipped his nails, and he'd be helped if he maybe did the trick we used to do sometimes, which was put a baked bean, a tin of beans in your shoe to kind of force it to kind of break a little bit. But I'd imagine if you pay whatever you paid for those boots, you don't want to do anything. You want to put them on and they're ready to go. You don't want to do anything. So I understand the frustration, but designer shoes, designer collaborations have always been overpriced. Have always been not worth it anyway. You're probably better off just getting regular Timbs really. But hey, you wanted the brand on the inside, there you got it. There you got it. Now you got a bit of the brand rubbing off on your sock. Now you got a bit of the brand rubbing off on your sock. But yeah, going back to these Louis Vuitton Buttersoft sneakers, fucking horrendous. I hate everything about them. And again, it's a sad indictment, because it shows that if Pharrell can't design good sneakers, then he's not destined for success at Louis Vuitton. This is the one thing that he should be able to do well. And if he can't do this well, his future at Louis Vuitton is not guaranteed. He's not going to be there for a long time, I don't think, because these are fucking awful. I'll be surprised if they become a hit. Don't get me wrong, I could picture some Afrobeats guys wearing these, because they've got the big logo on the side, right? There's going to be a particular clientele that's going to love them because of the massive logo, and they look very distinctive from afar. But I think in general, for the regular person, these aren't going to be the ones. These don't even come close to replicating the success of the ones that Virgil did. What are the ones? Are they called the LV Skate? Like these ones. I think I've seen. These are so popular with fucking football players. Football players love these, bro. Football players fucking love the Louis Vuitton skate shoe. I don't know why the fuck it is the case, but they absolutely love them. Yeah, see, look, somebody here said it. Look, Abloh's run of skate-inspired silhouettes. Let's check this out. Courtesy this. But football players love these fucking silhouettes. So I don't think he's come close to replicating what Virgil done with these. So this is going to be a first for the channel. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sneaker Circle. It is your boy Danny with the Louis Vuitton sneaker review. Now, so this is probably the last thing Virgil really touched in terms of design. Yeah. In front of us today, we do have the marine colorway.
of the LV skate lows.
So good. Such a good design, man.
And I understand this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I personally think these are crazy dope. And this is coming from an avenue where I'm not the biggest fan of Louis Vuitton sneakers, especially if like you look at Louis Vuitton collabs. 2017 Supreme Louis V collection, all the sneakers were garbage. They sat. And garbage is a harsh word, but it's just for the retail price and what they look like. I was not a fan. And regular Louis Vuitton shoes, I'm not a fan. But these skate shoes, these chunky, wonderful things, they're beautiful. Let's get straight into this review and let's look more into them. So fresh out the box, you get both sneakers, no additional laces on these, which is fine. This is the ribbon that was holding the box together. You get this dust bag, one for each sneaker. It's actually a really nice dust bag. It's nice and soft, but
not gonna lie, you don't get much in it. You don't really get much for the price he paid, which is, I'm assuming, is probably going to be north of 500. You don't get extra laces. You get a good dust bag and shit, but there's not much of an experience out of it. There's not a little pamphlet that explains, even just like a little farewell thing. This is one of Virgil's last designs. It was inspired by the 90s era of DC shoes, skateboarding in the Lower East Side, growing up skateboarding himself, or just whatever, just some little postcard, nothing. You just get some dust bags and a ribbon.
that price range though. So with every Louis Vuitton purchase, you get a little card where the client expert puts a little business card, you know. This is my boy's pair. He let me borrow them for this review. Retail on them, I could tell you exactly what he paid. So retail is $1,340. After tax, it was a little over $1,400.
God
so
damn.
Again, this is not
$1,400. Yo, luxury brands absolutely RAPE sneakerheads when it comes to sneakers, isn't it? There's no justified reason why you should be buying these, except for the look. They're not worth $1,400. They're not worth it at all. God bless up Virgil Abloh, RIP to the GOAT. But $1,400 retail.
not everyone's cup of tea. This is not what a lot of people want. If I had the means,
And I wonder, maybe Pastor Roma could tell me this. I wonder also if there's a conflict of interest. If like the reason why Pharrell's designed those god awful Cortez is because they're trying to phase out these skates, because these are part of Virgil's legacy. So you want this new creative director to have his own shoe to sell and to push and to put, like, you know, at the front of the fucking website. I wonder if that's the reason behind it as well. Maybe they're not going to put out more colors, or is this going to be an inline shoe that's just going to be something that they carry forward for years and years to come? Like, I wonder, like, if Demna ever leaves, when Demna leaves Balenciaga, will they take away the fucking sock shoe? Will they slowly phase out the triple S's? Or will they continue having those, just absorb it into the brand and just keep releasing other colorways? Because I think Saint Laurent did that, didn't they, with the Wyatt? Saint Laurent did that with the Wyatt boot. The Wyatt boot still comes out in different colorways, even though it was designed during Hedi Slimane's era at Saint Laurent. So I wonder if this is the reason why we're getting that horrible Cortez, because Pharrell's been pushed. He's having pressure to make his own shoe, make his signature shoe to kind of, you know, encapsulate his time there. And maybe that's the reason why it's kind of getting pushed. I don't know. I wonder why.
just know, if you know your boy gets a
Okay, yeah, big up Pastor Roman. I don't think it's LV. LV Minds. It's more Pharrell trying to prove himself. McQueen didn't remove the chunky sneakers when syrup. Oh yeah, true. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah. Okay, cool.
promotion, this is how he might treat himself.
They look so good, though.
That being said,
look at the laces.
these are already sold out online. I think this,
And I know where it was inspired by the laces, by the way. There was a designer, I forgot the designer's name, but there was a designer, it might have been Lorenzo actually, that Lorenzo OG kid that's got a collaboration with like Asics. But there was a person online, I forgot their name, who was doing loads of customs of like Air Force Ones in really cool colorways, and you'd always add these really obscene, obtuse, chunky rope laces. They were super thick, crazy thick laces, but they look really cool on Air Force Ones. So I wonder if Virgil saw that and kind of took that inspiration and added it onto his shoes. But I also love the fact that there's so much lace. You know what I mean? There's so much fucking cable, like there's so much stuff there. It's so fucking extra. It looks fucking cool. It really does. Even the logo, the LV logo with the bubble letters around it, the mesh tongue, like that is straight up like taking a DC and S shoe as well, and basically kind of, you know, giving it a luxury fashion tint, which makes it cool. But not 1,400 worth.
this colorway in most sizes is already sold out. You can probably get lucky going to a local Louis V store. But let's get straight into the sneaker, and I'm going to show you exactly why I really like them. So the whole unboxing experience kind of feels like the general Louis Vuitton unboxing experience, where you kind of buy a bag, it comes in a box, you kind of buy a wallet, it comes in a little box, and it's like the whole unpacking experience. So that's a nice aspect and a nice avenue. It's part of the Louis Vuitton brand. Right here we can take a look at the details of this really chunky shoe. Now Virgil, before his passing, actually leaked some of the colorways they were working on, I think in 2020 or like the beginning of 2021. We saw chunky skate style shoes, because remember when Louis Vuitton, when Virgil Abloh took his role in Louis Vuitton, he started really implementing like really close skate culture with Louis Vuitton. So I think in 2020 they actually signed their first skater, which is kind of crazy. Louis Vuitton being a Louis Vuitton sponsored skater, that's crazy. And this shoe,
yeah, I think that was Lucian Clark actually, who signed to DC. I think that's Lucian Clark signed to DC, who I may or may not had a scuffle with back in the day in Yalabai. Honestly, sometimes some of the fucking wars I've had back in the day may be a reflection of where I am now. Do you know what I mean? Man's awarded Reggie Yates, Lucian Clark, mad people out here. But I think that the one they signed, I think was Lucian, because Virgil was really fucking with Lucian heavy when he was alive.
released this year, so it has that Virgil touch to it, And I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit biased, but I think that's a reason why I like this sneaker so much, knowing he had some input on it, and it wasn't just someone at Louis Vuitton just, trying to create something with Virgil in mind, So the whole front of the shoe right here, you kind of have this toe mudguard where it has the actual print, the monogram flower print right here. So instead of like that speckle and bumpy feature, it's really hard to show on camera. I'll try to take a picture of it if I can. Right here you have Vuitton, so you don't have Louis Vuitton anywhere. You have either the LV or Vuitton. So you have Vuitton right here, you have Vuitton right here, you have it on the sole as well, and it's the same for that.
So cool, man.
That, and you get the LV there, you get the LV there, and you get the LV on the inside. So I must admit, this is an insanely just chunky sneaker. Like, this is an LV size 6, which should relate to anywhere from US 8 to US 8.5. And it's,
bruh, that's a size 6. Looks fucking huge, doesn't it? Yeah, big up Emmy as well. Remember meeting Lucian Clark in 2012 outside Supreme, London. Had no idea who he was at the time. No, he's meant to be a really nice guy. Everyone that I know that knows him says that he's a really, really nice guy. Like, even more so the older he's become a really give back type of dude and shit. But everyone has their their run-ins. But yeah, I've heard he's a really, really cool dude.
It feels big in my hand, no homo. The shoe's complemented with bits of mesh right here. I'm guessing for breathability. You have it on the toe box and you have it on the tongue. You have this really nice nubuck right here, and like this shoe has this weird, like almost chemical smell to it. I think it's the leather. So if you watched any of my videos before and you remember me complaining about Cassinas this year, the Air Max 1s, they had like this really pungent cowhide smell. At least the gray pair, for my personal gray pair, did. I hated it. These kind of have that, but toned really, really, really down. Like it's not, it doesn't hit you in the face, and it's not like a chemical smell like glue, which is,
it's that China factory shit, man. Just wear them and air it out, man. Take them to a rave, take them skateboarding, go for a walk. They'll be all right, man. They'll be all right. Wear them.
It's cool. I like that, because when you get the Air Jordans, you get Nikes, you get that glue smell first. Coming back to the shoe, you do have that same marine nubuck right here. It's a really soft nubuck, I'll give it to you. One aspect or detail of the shoe I really like, you have right there. I feel like we've seen this print somewhere before. So 1854, when Louis Vuitton was founded, Vuitton on both. It's a nice little piece of...
Oh, I've seen that actually. I don't mind that. I'm not usually the biggest fan of like different fonts and stuff. Like, maybe I would have preferred if you had the same font on the tab. But maybe this ties into classic LV, the pull tab here. But I do like that logo. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind that logo on the back. Instead of having the big LV on the back, I don't mind this kind of like logo thing going on. I wonder if he was still alive, maybe he would have continued pushing this whole like skate thing, and it would have been his own like kind of like sub brand or something. That would have been pretty cool to see, Virgil push like this whole idea of like luxury skateboarding, which is all, that would have fucking exploded Slap Forum and all these other forums that I'm a part of in terms of skateboarding and shit. But yeah, that's a really cool logo. I'm not mad at it.
patchwork, but it's plastic, so I like it. I'm telling you, I'm generally a big fan of these. Instead of mesh, you get mesh. You kind of get this ribbed pattern right here. It reminds me of kind of like a t-shirt material almost. You get regular polyester here, so I guess that's great for skate. But in here, you actually have a bit of leather, like where your heel would sit. You have a bit of leather. So I mean, if you're balling like that, or you're sponsored by Louis Vuitton, and you're skating these.
But they do look really good in the hand, though, innit? Let's be fair. They do look really good in the hand. Like in the hand, they look really fucking good. Even the quality, the different pan, like you can tell they. Don't get me wrong, they're not worth 1,400, but in terms of the quality, build quality, even from just watching it video here, you can tell from the panels, different materials, the dots here, the mesh, the leather, the stitching. It's a really well constructed shoe. I'm not gonna lie, very well constructed shoe.